If you think respect comes from raising your voice, forcing your will, or exhausting yourself in endless arguments, you've been playing the wrong game. Real power doesn't shout, it's felt. It shifts the air in the room before you even speak, and those who master it don't chase approval, they naturally command it. Some people walk into a space and, without saying a word, every eye turns. That's not luck or charisma. It's strategy. It's a precise combination of self-mastery, presence, and the ability to control the energy of the environment without force. It's exactly the kind of power Machiavelli would refine if he were alive today. Most people, however, spend their lives addicted to validation. They want to fit in, please others, and meet everyone's expectations, becoming prisoners of opinions that shift like the wind. Meanwhile, silent strategists are shaping perceptions and pulling strings in the background. This video isn't about cheap motivation. It's about real tools, practical, applicable methods to shield your mind, project authority, and gain influence without ever begging for it. These aren't theories, they're tested principles that can change how the world sees you. Here, you'll learn how to dominate your emotions so no one can touch your weak points, how to guide others without them realizing it, and how to create a presence so magnetic it demands respect without a single word. If you're tired of feeling underestimated or controlled by other people's approval, it's time to flip the script. What you'll discover here won't just free you from that dependence, it will place you in a position where others seek your approval instead. So hit that subscribe button, drop a comment sharing the last time you managed to stay in control in a tough situation, and get ready. This knowledge isn't shared often, and it might completely change the way you understand power. There's a kind of power that doesn't need an introduction. You feel it. It doesn't come from volume or aggression, but from a presence that's steady, deliberate, and unshakable. Machiavelli understood that real respect isn't demanded, it's inspired. And sometimes silence can cut deeper than the loudest roar. Picture walking into a room and sensing the shift. Conversations pause, people straighten up. That's not magic. It's the result of years of self-mastery and building a reputation that speaks for you. A true leader doesn't need to slam the table to be heard. Their presence has already set the tone. Silent power is cultivated through daily discipline. It's not just about looking confident, it's about thinking, deciding, and moving with the weight of someone who commands authority. This means being intentional with body language, controlling your tone, and mastering the art of strategic pauses. To build it, invest in your personal and emotional development. Read philosophy, study historical leaders, and observe those who influence without obvious force. Books like The Art of War and Meditations aren't just reading material, they're training manuals for strategic living. Your environment matters too. A sharp appearance, organized spaces, and a confident posture silently communicate discipline and authority before you even speak. Visual presence is often the first voice people hear from you. Practice this in everyday interactions. Speak less, listen more, and hold steady eye contact. Over time, people will start choosing their words more carefully around you, not out of fear, but out of instinctive respect. And here's the key. Silent power isn't the end goal. It's the foundation. Once you've mastered it, you can take it to the next level, influencing others without them even realizing you're the one moving the pieces. The most enduring power isn't loud or obvious. It's the kind that moves quietly, shaping outcomes without leaving fingerprints. Machiavelli knew the strongest influence is often invisible. By the time people notice what's happening, the game has already shifted in your favor. The first rule, don't trigger defenses. When people sense you're trying to control them, they resist. Instead, position yourself as an ally, a helpful voice, or even a passive observer. Guide the flow so subtly that the river doesn't realize it's changed direction. One of the most effective tools is planting ideas as questions. Instead of saying, "Do this, try, what if we tried it this way?" When they believe the choice was theirs, resistance disappears. A self-owned idea is rarely abandoned. Invisible strategy also requires ego control. The temptation to take credit is strong, but patience is more valuable than recognition. Acting too soon exposes you. Waiting for the right moment turns you into the unseen architect of the result. Provide consistent value. Solve problems, share insights, and quietly position yourself as indispensable. But do it without showboating. Influence grows faster when it isn't competing for the spotlight. Study the web of relationships around you. The person with the official title isn't always the one with real power. Sometimes it's the quiet advisor at their side. Win over those hidden power brokers, and you gain leverage over the entire structure. By the time your influence becomes visible, it will be too entrenched to challenge. And once you've learned to move people like this, the next step is mastering the one skill that keeps your power unshakable: absolute self-control. Before you can lead anyone else, you have to lead yourself. Machiavelli understood that self-mastery is the fortress that guards your power and the foundation on which all strategy is built. Without it, one emotional slip can undo years of progress. Self-mastery means controlling impulses, emotions, and reactions. A leader who explodes in anger becomes predictable, and predictability is weakness. The one who remains calm when the room is on fire commands attention without demanding it. To sharpen this skill, practice deliberate pauses. When faced with criticism or provocation, stop, breathe, and choose your response. This isn't about ignoring problems. It's about deciding when and how to act, so the move benefits your long game. Feed your mind and spirit. Philosophers like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius taught that freedom begins with control over your own thoughts. Adopting this mindset stops you from wasting energy on what you can't control and focuses it where it matters. Don't neglect the body. Physical discipline reinforces mental discipline. Training, eating well, and maintaining strong daily habits aren't just for health. They're acts of power. A disciplined body supports a disciplined mind. Self-mastery also creates a magnetic effect. People naturally trust those who remain steady under pressure. Allies gravitate toward your stability, and opponents find it harder to shake you. But this isn't the final destination. It's the launch pad. From here, you can build a form of leadership that doesn't rely on force, because your presence alone sets the standard. Some leaders bark orders, others don't have to say a word to be followed. Machiavelli understood that the most enduring authority comes not from force, but from presence. When your mere arrival changes the tone of the room, you've reached a higher tier of power. This kind of leadership is built from within. When you know exactly who you are, what you stand for, and where you're going, you radiate certainty. People are drawn to that stability, aligning with you not out of obligation, but because they choose to. Take the example of a manager who micromanages every move. It breeds dependency, not leadership. By contrast, a leader through presence sets the vision clearly and allows the team to act, trusting that their influence will guide the outcome. Coherence is the foundation. Your words and actions must match. If you preach discipline but operate in chaos, your authority collapses. People watch far more than they listen, and any crack in your consistency will erode respect. Nonverbal communication is a silent but powerful weapon. A steady gaze, a well-timed pause, or a simple nod can speak louder than a long speech. These cues, when aligned with your message, project control without having to prove it. When your presence is solid, imposition becomes unnecessary. People will follow because they respect the way you move, not because you force them to. This kind of leadership requires less energy and creates deeper loyalty. And once you've established presence, you can take it to an even subtler level, getting others to move on your behalf while they believe it's entirely their own idea. Machiavelli knew that true power isn't in doing everything yourself. It's in making others move in your favor while believing it was their own idea. It's like conducting an invisible orchestra. You set the rhythm, they think they're improvising. The first step is understanding motivations. Everyone has a trigger: recognition, security, influence, or belonging. If you can identify what drives them, you can align their personal goals with yours. When interests match, resistance disappears. Instead of issuing direct orders, plant suggestions disguised as options. Saying, "What if we tried it this way?" is far more effective than "do it this way." When people feel ownership over a decision, they defend it fiercely. Reciprocity is another powerful lever. Help first, without expecting an immediate return. Over time, you create a quiet sense of debt. When you eventually ask for something, the response is far more likely to be a willing yes. Never surrender control of the bigger picture. Even when delegating, keep your hands on the strategy. Always anticipate possible outcomes and have backup plans ready to keep the direction aligned with your vision. This art also demands patience. Forcing movement too soon can create suspicion. Waiting for the right moment ensures the action feels natural and, most importantly, self-initiated. And once you've mastered getting others to act for you, the next challenge is even greater: turning opposition and contempt into a tool that quietly strengthens your authority. Contempt can be a wound or a weapon depending on how you handle it. Machiavelli knew that reacting with offense only feeds your opponent, while transforming it into a display of composure and strategy strengthens your image. The key is to avoid fighting on their terms. The first move is to resist the reflex, to defend yourself immediately. The ego wants to fire back, but composure is more powerful than any counterattack. Ask yourself, does responding now actually serve me? If the answer is no, then silence or a delayed move is your advantage. Example: if someone publicly discredits your work, don't argue in the moment. Deliver undeniable results later, letting your actions dissolve their words. The contrast between their criticism and your success will speak volumes to everyone watching. Fortifying your self-mastery is essential. When your internal foundation is strong, outside contempt can't pierce it. This doesn't mean ignoring it completely, but filtering the attack, taking what's useful, and discarding the rest. Strategic silence can be devastating. By refusing to react, you rob the other person of the emotional payoff they were seeking. A provocateur without an audience's reaction quickly loses power. Turning contempt into silent authority is also a long game. Every attack you endure calmly builds a reputation for steadiness. And the stronger that reputation becomes, the more your adversaries end up reinforcing it without realizing it. This discipline naturally leads to the next skill: mastering the art of not reacting to provocations at all. A skill that not only protects your energy, but also multiplies your influence. Every reaction is a transaction of power. Machiavelli understood that whoever controls your reaction controls your direction. Choosing not to react to a provocation isn't weakness. It's a calculated move that preserves your energy and confuses your opponent. When someone tries to provoke you, their goal is to knock you off balance. If you respond impulsively, you confirm they've succeeded. A calm silence or a measured look sends a different message: you don't have access to my emotions. Example: in a meeting, someone throws a sarcastic remark to undermine you. Instead of taking the bait, maintain composure, keep your focus, and proceed with your point. Everyone watching will notice who stayed in control. Not reacting is also a strategy of attrition. A provocateur feeds on your response. Without it, they run out of fuel and often retreat. Meanwhile, your position remains intact and untarnished. This skill requires patience training. It's not about tolerating everything, it's about choosing the moment to respond so your action has maximum impact. Sometimes waiting turns a provocation into an opportunity. Calm under pressure also projects respect. People trust leaders who remain unshaken during conflict. That steadiness becomes a magnet for allies and a wall for enemies. And once you can hold your ground like this, you're ready for the next level, creating an air of mystery that draws people in and increases your influence without revealing your every move. Mystery is a magnet for attention. Machiavelli knew that when people can't predict your next move, they can't prepare for it, and that uncertainty keeps them watching. A well-crafted sense of mystery amplifies your presence and makes every action feel intentional. Creating mystery starts with controlling the flow of information. Don't reveal every plan, thought, or intention. Leave deliberate gaps that others will try to fill. Often, what's unsaid commands more focus than what's spoken outright. Example: if you're working on a project, reveal only enough to spark interest, keeping the most crucial details for a later reveal. This builds anticipation and keeps you in the center of attention without competing for it. Add unpredictability to your behavior, within reason. Be available sometimes, elusive at others. Alternate between being deeply engaged and quietly observant. The aim is to be hard to read, making others wonder about your next step. Mystery doesn't mean complete secrecy. Occasionally, give a small, controlled glimpse into your world. Those moments feel like privileges to others, strengthening their connection to you while keeping your overall image elusive. Your physical presence can reinforce this aura. Deliberate movements, calm pauses, and an unhurried voice all communicate control. When people sense that every gesture is intentional, they start to believe every moment with you matters. And once you can draw attention through mystery, the next step is even more powerful, shaping the way people interpret reality itself and controlling the narrative to your advantage. For most people, reality isn't what happens, it's how it's told. Machiavelli knew that the one who controls the narrative controls the battlefield. This isn't about twisting facts, but framing them in a way that strengthens your position and advances your goals. Shaping perception starts with storytelling. Cold facts may inform, but stories make people feel. The same event can be seen as a failure or a turning point, depending on the language and emotion you wrap it in. Example: if your team faces a setback, you can present it as a crisis or as a rare opportunity to grow stronger. The way you tell the story changes how people respond and whether they rally behind you or retreat. Speed matters. If you don't define the narrative quickly, someone else will, and it might not favor you. In moments of uncertainty, claim the frame early and repeat it until it becomes the accepted version of events. But words alone aren't enough. Your actions must reinforce the narrative you're building. If your story is about resilience, you must embody calm under pressure. If it's about vision, your moves must reflect foresight and purpose. Develop your rhetorical skills. Learn to choose words that inspire, reassure, or ignite determination. Pair them with body language that supports, not undermines, your message. Every signal you send should be aligned with the reality you want people to believe. And once you can shape perception and own the narrative, the final step is to ensure your inner discipline is unshakable, because all the power you've built depends on your ability to control yourself in every situation. Real power isn't just about what you can achieve, it's about what you can maintain. Machiavelli knew that emotional discipline is the foundation that supports every other strategy. Without it, even the strongest position can crumble under a well-placed provocation. Emotional discipline is the ability to think clearly under pressure. It's resisting the pull of anger, fear, or unchecked excitement and choosing the response that best serves your long-term objectives. lose that control, and you hand your enemies the keys to your decisions. Example, in a high-stakes negotiation, the person who remains calm almost always walks away with the better deal. While others rush, the disciplined player observes, calculates, and acts only when the timing delivers maximum impact. To build this discipline, practice patience and self-reflection. Use techniques like controlled breathing, meditation, or journaling to spot emotional patterns before they sabotage you. Awareness is the first step toward control. Clear goals are a shield. When you know exactly what you want, it's easier to ignore distractions and provocations. Focus isn't just about productivity, it's a defense against manipulation. Emotional discipline doesn't mean suppressing all feelings. It means using them intentionally, showing passion to inspire, firmness to demand respect, or neutrality to unsettle opponents, all on your terms. And with this inner fortress in place, you complete the circle of power. From silent presence to invisible influence, from shaping perception to total self-mastery. Now all that's left is to bring it together in a conclusion that moves you to act. Now that you understand the strategies to command respect, project authority, and maintain absolute control over yourself, the real question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Keeping it in your head without acting is like holding a weapon you never draw. Think about the last time you reacted impulsively, sought validation, or let someone else's opinion dictate your decision. How different would the outcome have been if you had applied silent power, invisible strategy, or emotional discipline? Power is not a single event. It's a habit. It's built in every conversation you choose to have, in every battle you decide to avoid, and in every moment you project strength without needing to speak. Start now. Identify one situation in your life where you can apply one of these principles. Watch how people respond differently and take note of the subtle shifts in the way they treat you. I want to hear from you. Which of these strategies do you believe will have the greatest impact on your life? Drop your answer in the comments. Your perspective could inspire someone else on this same journey. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you can keep learning strategies that combine respect, authority, strategy, self-mastery, and influence. And before you go, watch the complimentary video on your screen and in the description. It's the natural next step to elevate your personal power and influence to a level few ever reach.